Welcome to the Healthpreneur Podcast. My name is Uriel Kame, New York Times bestselling author, former professional athlete, and founder of Healthpreneur, the world's leading company helping health and fitness experts start and scale high-end coaching businesses. If you want to attract more clients, learn how to convert them without feeling salesy, and deliver an amazing program for them on the back end, if you want to be inspired by what others just like you have gone through and how you can do the same no matter what life throws your way, then you are in the right place, because every single week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we're going to be bringing you the best to help you take your knowledge and expertise to the next level with your health or fitness coaching business. And if you enjoy what you see and hear and would like to take your business to the next level, then I invite you to check out our free online training over at healthpreneurgroup.com/training. And for now, let's get into today's episode. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Yuri here. I want to talk about fear with you in this episode. And I want to ask you a question. Is fear holding you back, or is it propelling you forward? And I want to make a suggestion to you, and that is this, is that fear is an indication of what you should do, not what you shouldn't. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. When I started my business back in 2006, I played it comfortable, I played it small, I played it safe. And here's a little clue. If you're playing it safe, you're playing it small. Let's just put it that way. And if you're playing it small, you're not helping people in a way that you could be, which is selfish. So playing it small means playing it safe equals selfishness. So I was being selfish because I was afraid. I was afraid to let my full light shine, to do things that were out of my comfort zone, to maybe invest in things that I should have invested in. And after 3 years of struggle, I made a decision. And I said, listen, dude, you got to do something different. And that something different was, number one, to go to some live events and actually meet other people. Hey, that might be a good idea, right? And then also, what about hiring a coach? Because a coach will show you the way to go, right? And it'll keep you accountable and show you the things that you're not even aware of. And so that was the most, and I've mentioned this before, that was the one pivotal decision in my business that really changed everything in my life. Because from that one decision, everything was just better, right? The strategies, the surroundings, the increased beliefs, the courage, all that stuff came from being immersed in other people who were doing big things and who had accomplished great things and are continuing to build awesome things. And I needed to be surrounded by that. So the dilemma was that I knew when I saw the individual who I eventually hired as my coach, it was a stretch. I'm talking like $18,000. And just for contrast, I didn't make that much money in my previous year online. So $18,000, I know this is what I need to do, but super, super fearful. I can still feel that feeling, the butterflies and the uneasiness in my stomach, that feeling where you just want to vomit. I can still feel that. So I understand, listen, if you feel the same way, if you know that there is something you need to do, but you're paralyzed by fear, I can promise you that is the thing you need to do. That is the thing you need to do, because from that place, you will be stretched out of your comfort zone in a way that requires you to elevate your game. You elevate your beliefs, your action, your courage, everything to raise to that level. And from that is how you grow. So that $18,000 investment at the time, I remember giving them my credit card over the phone. And I said to myself, man, this is super scary. But here's the thing, is that deep down inside of me, I knew I would do whatever it takes to figure this out and make this work. And that is the thing you need to have. You need to have this level of self-belief that is inexplainable, inexplicable. It's the type of belief where other people don't understand why you do what you do. It's the type of belief where you've been failing and doing mediocre for so long that most quote-unquote normal people, out of a place of love and maybe wanting to keep you safe, are telling you, hey, why don't you just go get a secure job? Why don't you just do what you were doing before? And you're like, no, I know this is the path I need to be on. If you need a reminder of this, read the book Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. I believe it's Phil Knight, the CEO, founder of Nike. 18 years of being broke and struggling before they built $1 billion company. 18 years. So if you're hoping for miracles overnight, hey, wow, your ad isn't working, or someone doesn't say yes to your offer on the first phone call, you can't close up shop. get ready, welcome to business. Okay? And that's the thing, is that there are going to be so many things on your journey, that are going to challenge you, and they're going to be scary, and you're not going to be sure how to handle them. And that's an indication of something you need to do. If you don't know how to do it, that means, hey, I need to grow to the next level. And in the process, I'm going to help, or I'm going to figure out how to do it, or I'm going to find the who can help me figure out how to do it. And as a result, I'm going to look back on this in a year, I'm going to laugh at how simple this was. I tell my clients, if tech issues are the biggest issues in your business, you've got a major problem. Okay? If the biggest problem in your business is a Facebook pixel not firing properly, your business is way too small. And that's fine. Like, we all start there. Like, I remember when I started, I was building web pages on Dreamweaver. I don't even know if you know if you've been around for a long enough time, Dreamweaver was an actual platform that I had to download, and I paid whatever, $500 to build my own web pages. I'm not a web developer. And I was building web pages for my own website. That was my biggest problem at the time, is how do I bold a sentence using HTML? Like, imagine the level of my business if that's my biggest problem. But if your biggest problem is how do I hire more amazing people on my team to keep up with my clients' flow, that's a better problem, right? We all have to start with small problems and build up to big ones. But here's the thing, is that the fear never goes away. The fear of, I'm not too sure how to do this, doesn't go away. It just changes. Because initially the fear might be, how do I figure out my Facebook pixel? And then the fear becomes, and then you figure that out. And then the next fear might be, well, what happens if 10 people are on the phone with me and none of them say yes? So I've had 10 no's. Okay, the next fear is, well, what if I start being a little bit more assertive, and what if people don't like me, right? And then you just get through that bullshit and you're like, who cares what people think? And you keep moving and scaling up, not in the sense of just scaling your business, but scaling who you are. I've said this before, I tell it to my kids all the time, you need to seek extreme wealth because of who you have to become in the process. It's not about the money. It's not about the car. My good friend Dan Martell, he bought a McLaren 570S. It's my dream car. I'm going to be buying one next summer. And I love his perspective on this. He wrote a post on Facebook about this because he said it's not about the car. It's not about the car. It's about the person you've become and what you've done in the world. And this is simply the representation of that. And he's been spreading this message to talks he's given to kids, because kids are obviously enamored by the car. It is a beautiful car. Like, it's ridiculous. And for me, it's the same thing. Like, my mom was like, why do you need a McLaren? I don't need a McLaren, but I'm getting one, even if I'm driving to Starbucks and it doesn't see the light of day otherwise. Because for me, it's a trophy. It's a representation, not of the financial success. It's who I've become. And the same for you. Never feel bad about the things you want to do or have or experience in life, because it is only a byproduct of who you have become as a person, because it's impossible to grow your business without first growing yourself. All business growth is predicated by personal growth. So any challenges you're dealing with in your business are simply what you can handle right now personally. If you want to scale your company, it's no longer about you. It's about becoming a bigger leader, a better leader, and developing leaders underneath you to now have them drive the company. Whereas initially it's you doing everything. We all go through that. That's totally fine, right? So whatever you are afraid of doing is the thing you need to do. Now, I'm not saying if you're afraid of jumping off a bridge, you should jump off a bridge, unless you're attached to a bungee cord, in which case you probably should do that. Because there'll probably be some amazing epiphanies and thinking, I am so glad I did this after it's done. You see, we don't regret the things that we do in life. We regret the things we don't do in life. And, if you're listening to this and, for instance, you've had a conversation with us about working together and you've been fearful about the investment or fearful about, will this work? Well, I can promise you it works, but the only thing we're not sure of is whether you work. So in order to get through fear, you need to tap into your self-belief. And if you believe in yourself and you're great at what you do, Listen, the fear is not going to go away. You're just going to get better at handling it. You're going to flex that muscle of courage. Courage is the way you move through fear. Courage is, as my mentor Dan Sullivan talks about, fear is peeing in your pants. Courage is what you do with wet pants, right? You think everyone, going overseas into various wars and, combat situations, do you think they don't experience fear? They're probably riddled with fear. But that's the nature of the game. They have to have the courage to move through that. And, thankfully, a lot of us are not in that situation. But we live in our own world with some degree of fear. And our fear, quite honestly, is so ridiculous compared to, oh my God, I might get a bullet in the head. And if we put things into perspective, like what is the worst thing that can happen? That's a great question to ask yourself if you're afraid of something. What is the worst thing? So if I ask myself when I made that investment to hire my first coach, what is the worst thing that's going to happen if I lose $18,000? What's the worst thing that can happen? Does that mean I'm going to live on the street? No, it's not. Am I going to lose my family? No. Am I going to be in a little bit of a pickle debt-wise? Sure. Is that the end of the world? No, because I'll figure out a way to pay that off. So a lot of times we're making situations so much bigger and more ridiculous than they really are. Put it in perspective. What is the worst that can happen? And then a great follow-up question is, well, what's the best that can happen? And the best that can happen outweighs the downside in such a big way, it is not even comparable. So if I had lost $18,000, that's the most I can lose. That's the most I can lose. But what's the upside? Well, the upside is where I am right now. I built 2 multiple $1-million companies, and it's continuing to grow, baby. The upside hasn't even been tapped. It's like the upside is when you die. That's the pinnacle, I guess, right? So you go into a situation that you're afraid of, and the worst thing that can happen is you lose a little bit of money. Or, really, are you going to die? No. Are you going to lose your family? No, it's not that bad. But the upside, you make a lot more money. You become a better version of yourself. You are more capable at handling adversity. You develop your courage muscle. You build more confidence. You build your ability. You build your skill sets. You become a better business person. You become a better human being. Logically, it doesn't even make sense. But again, fear, we focus on the thing not working out as being, oh my God, this is the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. Do the thing you're afraid of. And I promise, I tell every single one of our clients, when you work with us, I promise you, if you do the work and you don't just go walkabout, if you do the work and you stay plugged into our coaching, this will be the single best investment you've ever made in your life, not your business, your life. And the reason I say that is because the business growth is just one piece of it, but it's the personal growth. It's the person you become in the process. Because listen, I promise you, you're going to go through hell to build a great business. And you're going to do that on your own, or you're going to do that with the support of world-class coaching and a community of hundreds of other amazing people to support you. It's your choice. Either way, it's going to happen. But if you can get through that, can you imagine going to fight a war by yourself, like Rambo or the Terminator, versus being in a platoon of other people who get you, who support you, and world-class leaders and coaches to guide you along the way? The likelihood of you succeeding is a lot better. But it doesn't mean that the journey is going to be easy. It's not. We've made it simple, but it's not easy. There are going to be times where we've had phone calls with clients that are crying, who've hit the wall. That's part of the process. And when that happens, who's going to be there to pick you up? Who's going to be there to encourage you? Who's going to be there to tell you that they believe in you even when you don't? And if you don't have that, you don't grow. You don't get the growth you want. And you have to be plugged into environments like that. And I'll just finish off with this. A couple days ago, as of this recording, I get a Facebook message from one of our clients, Tony. And Tony, great guy, like one of the nicest human beings on the planet. And he joined our HBA program, I don't even know, maybe a year ago. And I'll be very honest, he didn't see the results that he wanted to see. Obviously that's something that I obviously want all of our clients to win. So we worked a lot with him on his offer and how to make it more compelling and so forth. Had a bunch of phone calls, had, some interest, but really no one, biting at the offer. And again, he's, selling something for $3,000, helping men over 40. So he sends me a personal message, and it's a 1-minute video, and he says, Yuri, I wanted you to be the first to know this. I just had my first call after HP Live, which is our big event, and he enrolled the client on the spot. And I was so proud of him. He was just talking about how being at Healthpreneur Live, which is our big live events, changed everything for him. Because as I mentioned to everyone who was there, I said, just being in the soup, as I called it, in the environments with all of this great stuff going on, your vibration is going to increase, your energy is going to increase, your level of belief and courage is going to increase, your confidence is going to increase, you're going to feel invincible, so that when you go back to regular stuff in your day-to-day life, things are going to start to just happen for you. And it wasn't just Tony, I'm telling you, it's like dozens of other clients experience the same thing. And I was so pumped for him, because the thing is, he never gave up. He never gave up. He believed in himself. We believed in him. And I love seeing stuff like that, because that is what happens when you don't give up on your dreams, even though it's scary. What if I lose money on my Facebook ads? What if I invest and I don't make any money back? Listen, I get it. It's scary. I understand that. But the upside is totally worth it. And you have to believe that. And if you don't, you're always going to live a life that is small, that is safe, and that, quite honestly, is selfish, because you're not becoming the best version of yourself to meet people and help them grow and help them get out of pain and help them get out of suffering. It's your duty, it's your responsibility to get out of your own way to serve people. Okay? So that is what I'm going to finish with today. So fear, again, is an indication of what you should do, not what you shouldn't. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. If you've enjoyed this episode, leave it a 5-star review on iTunes. Take a screenshot of it on your phone, pop over to Instagram at Healthpreneur1, tag me in that, leave me a little message about what you thought about this episode, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Ciao. Hey, thanks so much for joining us on this episode of the Healthpreneur Podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, here's what I'd like you to do right now. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the Healthpreneur Podcast on iTunes, and while you're there, leave us a rating or review. It helps us get in front of more people and change more lives. And if you're ready to start or scale your health or fitness coaching business and want to start getting in front of more people, working with them at a higher level without trading time for money, then I invite you to check out our free 7-figure health business blueprint training, totally free right now, and you can do so at healthpreneurgroup.com/training. For now, thank you so much for joining us. Continue to be great, do great, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.